Yo, what is up there, guys? The Wiz back at it again with another Amphibia video discussion right here, right now. So let's get right to it. All right, at long last, finally we got the introduction of Marcy. But not only that, we got the big reveal of Marcy's eyes turning green, indicating that yes, she indeed does have the green gem's power inside of her, just like how Anne has the blue gem's power within her. So all right, 2 down and only 1 to go, with Sasha having the purple gem inside her, thanks to, you know, the process of elimination. We got 3 gems on the calamity box and 3 girls. Each girl gets a gem, so all is right with the world. Now, one interesting thing to note about when it comes to Marcy and Anne's power is that the power was revealed at the same time the characters themselves were revealed. But what about Sasha? I mean, she's made an appearance more than once and we haven't seen her eyes turn purple at all yet. Well, let's look back. One thing that Anne and Marcy have in common when activating the gem is that it seems to be activated during selfless acts, mainly saving people and fighting off against the giant bug to save Spring in episode 1, and again when fighting that Megazord vegetables thing protecting the Planter's family in the first episode of season 2. Now we've had Marcy's eyes turn green appear while saving Sprig from that giant bug thing that we were fighting. So looks like Sprig is the key. No, I'm just kidding, but you see what I mean here. So a selfless brave act, or a strong heart, or strong feelings, however way you want to interpret it, seems to be the most simple answer for activating the gems within them. Although it is entirely possible that, you know, there might be a little bit more to it than that. We do know that when it comes to this show, one of the big focus, of course, is about change and being the best self that you can be. Perhaps Marcy's activated because at that moment she was super confident in herself. After all, we do know she was a major goofball back home, and her being able to prove to herself and Anne fire and determination, strength of heart, if you will, activated the gem within inside Marcy. And then of course, you know, we had Anne. Maybe hers activated because of her really strong feelings towards the Planter family. After all, they are her real first friends. Well, that's what the show says anyway. Not to say that Sasha and Marcy aren't real friends with her, but when it came to Sasha, we saw how toxic of a relationship they had. So Anne's heart was not always 100%, you know, being scared to talk back to Sasha or refuse any of her demands. Definitely doesn't seem 100%, you know, heart of the cards over here. So looking back at Sasha, there were a few moments that you'd think, well, there should have been maybe a glimpse of her power. One moment being at Toad Tower, where she let go of Anne making the sacrifice play. Although one thing that I want to make note of that is, yes, her eyes were closed, so it is entirely possible that, you know, they could have been glowing, but we just didn't see it because, again, her eyes were closed. I would say, you know, that was a pretty selfless act if you ask me, but it was a little kind of more depressing than anything else. It doesn't exactly scream heroic feat like what Marcy and Anne have done. Not to mention, Sasha's feelings were clearly all over the place at that moment, you know, sadness, frustration, anger, knowing that things will never be the same, realizing how bad of a friend she was towards Anne, pretty much losing a friend in the process. Now, there was that other time when Sasha was fighting alongside Grime against Captain Yunan. Sasha does say she cares about Grime. Now, I don't know if she's 100% being serious about that. I mean, that could just be Sasha playing her mind games, because to be honest, we are in a pretty crazy world. Better to have a partner than to go it alone. So if that's the case, she's more doing this for herself, helping Grime fight off against Yunan. So that's more of a selfish act than a selfless act. To be honest, this just gets me really hyped for Sasha's character development. She's in a pretty rough spot, releasing her feelings through anger. Kind of reminds me of a certain someone from a certain show, and if that's the case, all your girl really needs is a big hug. But seeing as how she's going for this whole world domination thing, yeah, this development could take a while, which is a good thing that we're having 3 seasons, because that will give us plenty of time to work with Sasha. Now, I'm not too worried about it at the end of the day, because once again, we have this whole prophecy thing we got going on over here, where 3 girls are gonna fight this giant frog thing, so I'm sure things will work out eventually. Oh, I hope. But man, how funny would it be if Sasha's eyes turned purple while saving the Planter family? Because at the moment, yeah, yeah, she is not a fan of those guys. But again, it could be more than just saving people. Sasha's really gonna have to go ahead and believe in the heart of the cards to make amends, not just with herself, but with her friends, and accept these new changes to go ahead and have a proper friendship, which will only make the relationship between her and Marcy so much more stronger. And honestly, I cannot wait to see that. I mean, I'm sure Sasha does want to be friends with Anne again. Now, whether or not she wants to have, you know, morals, have an equal balanced relationship is kind of up in the air. I feel as though maybe she still wants to be kind of like the leader, the dictator within the friendship over here, because the way the episode ended with Sasha before was like, oh, it's not over between us, Anne. Not at all. It's like, oh, I'm kind of having some weird vibes here, a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, to be honest, I'm not expecting Sasha to have a huge character change immediately, kind of like, you know, unlike this chick over here. Amity, you gotta calm down. Since Sasha, once again, is basically gonna be like, you know, taking over the world, I could see a total situation happen where like Sasha has Anne in prison and she's gonna be like, oh, well, see, this is what happens when you don't trust in me, and instead of, you know, trusting these froggy people, stuff like that. So I can definitely see some awkward things happening over here, but oh man, I'm just gonna say Sasha's a villain is looking pretty cool, has me hyped, but hey, once again, the heart of the cards, I'm sure things will work out at the end. I also wonder though, you know, when it comes to the gems themselves, do they actually have any sort of power? Like, will they give you a boost in strength, or is there like a healing factor or something, or is it really just for show? So let us not forget, there was that episode known as Anne Hunter, where there was the whole hallucination sprig coming from Anne, but notice how out of all the colors Sprig's head is surrounded with, it has to be the color blue? Possibly calamity powers? Oh, maybe. So guys, that is basically going to be it for this video. What I want to know in the comment section below is, you know, the gems power. What do you think it actually takes to activate them? And Sasha, how do you think she will turn out? And also, do you think the gems have any other sort of significance aside from just, you know, glowing? Like I said, will they give him super strength? I have no idea. So guys, leave all your comments in the comment section below. And if you like the video, make sure to give it a big, massive thumbs up, as that helps me and the channel out quite immensely. If you aren't already, you could follow me on my Twitter. Same thing as my YouTube channel, which is Ed the Wiz. I am also on Instagram, which is MadSwag12345, where I go ahead and post all the good stuff. Have a Discord, link will be in the description below, with an Amphibia tab, so we could go ahead and talk about all that Amphibia goodness. So until next time, my dudes, I'm gonna go ahead and say bye, pal. We'll see you soon.